Good morning, traders and investors around the world, and welcome to Tuesday's edition of premarketinfo.com, where we prepare you for the most important hour of the day, the first hour. Dennis is caught up in the trade cave this morning, so I'm going to be doing the Big Ten show here solo. So let's get right to it. S&P's trading up almost $14 overnight, making a Globex low at 1274.50, right below the daily close. If that holds as a low of the day, we have an upside target of 1292.50. Globex high currently stands at 1289.50, and I'm not even going to give you a target on the downside because it doesn't look like that's going to hold up at all. Mid-range currently stands at 1282, but would take us right back into Friday's high and just below our October 27th high at 1283.50. Looks like we got a breakout, folks, to the upside here. We'll just have to be patient, hopefully get a pullback, be able to get in, or just jump right in on the open. Moving on to the Big Ten, Apple Computer, after making an all-time new high yesterday at 427.75, pulled back actually to close near the low of the day at 421.73. It's recovering that ground this morning with the S&P rally. Let's keep an eye on that 427.75 number. Above that, your guess is as good as mine. Minor resistance will probably come in at the 430 level. Moving on to our next component, ExxonMobil matched last week's low early in the session yesterday before rallying, trading up almost $1 here in the pre-market, easily got through the 86 area. Coming up on last week's high of 86.67, which has been the high of this move. Just above that, you have 86.78, which was our high for May 3rd, but better resistance stands at 87.45. Coming back on the downside, perhaps if we get back into that 86 area, you'll find some support, but better support would be coming in at Monday's high at 85.64. Next thing, moving on to our next component, IBM, weak off the open yesterday, couldn't quite get to that psychological support of 180, stopping shy at 180.27. Popped a little bit on the close to trade at close at 181.59. Currently trading up $2.22, blasting through Monday and Friday's high. So we'll use that mid 182 level, 182.27 to 182.32 as support. And I'm not seeing major resistance in this stock up to Friday's high, which is 184.48, as well as Thursday's high from last week at 185.02. Moving on to our next component, Mr. Softy, after a monster 4-day run, settled back a little bit yesterday. Actually closed near the low of the day, 27.72 low with a 74 close. Getting a pop here in the pre-market, starting to flirt with that $28 level. Just have to be cognizant of the resistance at Monday's high and Friday's close, which was 28.10. And then you also have the high from the end of last week at 28.19. Coming back on the downside for Microsoft, you'll find good support at the low and the close in the low 27.70 area. Chevron Corporation knocking on the door here of a new all-time high, which was 110.99. That's the only number I have on my sheet here, folks, so that will be resistance. Above that, let's look for the next whole number at 112. Coming back on the downside, you should find some mild support at 110.37, which was a high and a close from the end of last week. But the major support would come in at yesterday's high at 109.67. Moving on to our next component, J&J hasn't quite been participating in the rally as of the last few days. Closed at 64.93, currently trading up 37 cents from there. Have already taken out Monday's high, which was 65.09, so let's expect support from the 65.09 level down to 65. Coming back on the upside, you got a mild stopping point at 65.60, but perhaps J&J is poised here to go back up and test that 66.03 level. 66 and 66.03 were highs from early in the last week, with the weekly high being 66.32. Procter & Gamble, another defensive stock, kind of a quiet range yesterday, closed at 64.93 after closing right in that area on Friday. Currently, Procter & Gamble trading up at 66.93. We have that major resistance at $67. There's been a big seller in the book there for the last few days, so expect a mild stopping point there. Coming back on the downside, expect to see support at yesterday's close at 66.64. AT&T flirted with that $29.50 level yesterday, popped to make a $29.85 high, currently trading at $29.86. So you can use that $29.85 number as your swing number. Above that, I'm not seeing any resistance in AT&T until 30.09, which was Friday's high. GE, we talked about the $19 level. We are currently trading 19 cents above that. GE has just been a march north here. Expect some resistance from 1904 to 1914, which were the highs that we had in this stock back at the end of July. Major resistance stands at 1953, which was the high back on July 22nd. Coming back on the downside, Monday's high and close right near each other, 1888 to 1886. Find support in that area if, in fact, it can get back under that $19 level. Moving on to our final component, Coca-Cola. Could not quite get to last week's low yesterday, making a low at 68.80 with a 68.93 close. Currently trading above Monday's high, which is 69.17. On a pullback, expect to find support in that area. The old high is 69.17. If the rally is going to continue in Coca-Cola this morning, minor resistance at Friday's high, which was 69.62. Major resistance starts at the 69.87 level up to the $70 level. Well, the SPU's hit a fresh high there in the pre-market at $12.90. I really don't see any key numbers up until the higher 90s here. $12.98.25 was a high that we had back on August 1st. That was pre-Japanese tsunami markets. We're going to take a quick break here, and maybe we can get Dennis in for our Market Movers show.